Hi, everyone. Welcome to the updates for Salesforce 2024 winter release. Today's October 4th, so we have some great updates for you guys. So we'll give it a few more seconds here until everyone joins. And we can get started.
Hi everyone, my name is Ali Pakalnis and I will help facilitate our webinar today. Before we get started, here are a few tips on using the Zoom platform so you can engage with our presenters and have the best experience possible. You should see a Zoom toolbar with icons for Ask a Question and Raise Your Hand. Please use the Ask a Question feature to submit a question or comment. If you need any assistance, click on the Raise Your Hand button and I will connect with you to help. We encourage you to ask questions throughout this presentation, and we will do our best to answer them all. If we didn't answer your question, we will follow up with you personally after the presentation. Within 72 hours of the webinar, you will receive a link to download the slide deck and recorded presentation. And with that, I'd like to introduce you to our presenters for today, Mozam Khan and James Moore.
All right, I'll go first here. My name is Mozam Khan. I am a senior consultant on the Salesforce team here at Armanino. I've been in the industry for about 10 years. I focus on Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, CPQ, and a few more other clouds and different features within Salesforce. And with that, I'll hand it over to James.
Hi, my name's James Moore. I'm a senior consultant here at Armanino as well, and I've had about 2 years of experience with Salesforce and kind of specialize in a few different things, but looking forward to helping you guys out today.
All right, so with that, we'll move over to our next slide here. So today's webinar here, we're looking to achieve a few different things. We have our learning objectives. So the first one is, how can we identify ways to maximize the potential of your Salesforce system? So there's going to be a few things that we'll go over and give you ideas on what the newest releases are and how that can maximize this potential. Along with that, we're going to discover the updated user experience for easier adoption to the system. Also, to understand how to manage the latest improvements to work more efficiently. So combining all of those objectives, we want to help you understand the new updates and also get more in line with where Salesforce is headed in the near future. And that is something that I think will really open up, especially with AI coming up in every single topic and discussion. And with this release, there's a lot of AI-related updates. With that, we would like to have our polling question sort of up for you. And the question itself is, what category of Salesforce users do you belong to? Are you an administrator? Are you a consultant? Or are you more of a general or power user? So if you can pick one of those options there. Give it a few seconds here. All right, looks like about 20% or more we have some admins, and a lot of our users here, a lot of our attendees here are more power users or general users. So glad to have everyone on board here. All right, let's move forward to our next slide. All right, so we have two different focuses here. The first one here that we'll talk about is the agenda for the user-focused updates that we have in Winter 24. So the first one we'll be talking about is displaying only Salesforce events on calendars. After that, it will be how to personalize sales emails with Einstein GPT. So this is something with the whole AI, as I mentioned. After that, how to transfer dashboard ownership and the new feature behind that. Along with that, we have reports on members of public groups and queues, and then also asset hierarchy. So this is more user focused. With that, we will move to the admin focused. This is going to be more your admin functionality. So if you are a power user, these are also still helpful for you because you can take this back to your admins or request that these certain things to be implemented, or just update your admins with these new updates that you can share with them. As Ali said, the presentation will be sent over to you. So starting with that, migrating to Hyperforce with Hyperforce Assistant, permission set summary view, reporting on permission set assignments, dynamic forms, API names and permission sets, and Salesforce backup and restore. So these are the admin focused updates. Starting off with our Salesforce user focused items here. First one here is the display only Salesforce events on calendar. So there were a lot of complaints. There's a lot of requests on Salesforce forums there. People were saying that, hey, we have a lot of duplications or a lot of redundant data on our Salesforce calendars, because when you do merge your Google Calendar or Microsoft Office 365 with Salesforce calendars, everything was kind of overlapping, and there was no option to kind of remove the redundant data or just hide and show only Salesforce data on those calendars. So the new update is that you can remove the other like Google Calendar or Microsoft Office 365, and that can be set through the settings. So you can see in the screenshot there, the show captured events on the Salesforce calendar, it is off, and you can set those so then users are able to kind of, in the second screenshot there, you can see that you can enable or disable that depending on whatever calendar is merged with your Salesforce calendar. So this is something very helpful and more for user functionality, smoother experience. So depending on the users, they will be able to individually set these settings for themselves. All right. And if you have any questions or anything, please put them down in the chat in the questions, and we will try our best to answer. Up next is personalizing sales emails with Einstein GPT for sales. So Einstein GPT uses your sales data to generate personalized emails. So meaning your data that is there on your accounts and opportunities and your leads, things like that. It will take that and draft up emails for you to, for your follow-ups, or if you would like to send an invite. And there's preset email prompt types. So if it's an invite or a follow-up, it'll do that and sort of just insert all that detail that it can bring out from those records and give you a nice draft right into your the email box that's there. And this is going to be very helpful. So you don't have to sit there and type up the whole email. Now you just click draft at Einstein GPT based on what you're looking to do after a call or introductions. It'll pull in all the details and give you a more like a draft for you to kind of review, and saves a lot of time. You can work more efficiently and contact your whoever you're trying to reach directly from Salesforce. So this feature is available in Lightning Experience and Performance and Unlimited Editions with the Einstein GPT.
Hey, Mozam, before we move on, it does look like we have a question. Is
Sure.
Einstein GPT included in our regular Salesforce licenses?
So that is something that pretty much how they structured this is it requires Einstein Sales GPT, and how that works is it comes with Sales and Service Cloud Einstein licenses, and you have to purchase those for $50 per month per user. So that itself is a separate cost itself. So, with the sales and service cloud Einstein licenses, you got a lot more than just this drafting email with Einstein GPT. There's a lot of different capabilities that Einstein GPT can do for the betterment of your, the system and supporting, efficiency in your system as well. So if one more thing I want to mention is if you do have unlimited edition licenses within Salesforce, the sales and service GPT will be included. So that is a plus if you have unlimited. Hope that answers the question. All right, up next, we'll be handing this over to James for this one.
Awesome. Yeah. One of the new features coming out is that you're going to be able to transfer dashboard ownership. And so this is definitely useful if you ever have someone who, who's better suited to manage a dashboard, or if someone leaves your company and you need to change over ownership, they get all the same access to the content that the previous owner got. And it's really helpful. The way you would have to do this in the past, you would have to clone the dashboard and then assign it to the new user. So this is a way you're able to really transfer ownership seamlessly and a lot simpler than before. The way you'll enable this is from setup, you'll go to reports and the reports and dashboard setting page, and then you'll select allow users to change dashboard owner. And then as you can see here on this kind of animation, you'll click that drop down on the right side, and then that is where you will be able to select the new dashboard owner.
Yep, this was one of the ideas that the community had, because it was taking up a lot of the time to change. Instead of changing the owner, simply you would have to clone it and then assign yourself as the owner. So a lot of, I think, moving towards efficiency, this is something very standard that should have been there, and now, they listened and implemented this. So thanks, James, for covering that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, many questions here, and otherwise we can move forward to the next.
Mm-hmm.
All right, this one is also James. Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, and something else that's new is that you're able to report on members of public groups and queues. The way you're going to be able to utilize this is through a custom report type. The way you had to do this before would be through running either SQL queries or having to actually click into those groups to see them. This just makes it easier for admins and users to manage public group memberships more easily. So that's something that's going to just increase efficiency for users. The way you'll set this up is that you're going to go to setup, go to the quick find box, enter report types. You'll select report types, and then you'll select group member as the primary object. And then once you do that, you should be able to see that report type in your custom report options when you're building reports. Yeah.
Great. We do have a question regarding this. I think it might already be mentioned there, but what can be the use case for reporting on groups and queues? What are the benefits, and what are the use cases?
So managers move reps in and out of queues, and they can use the admin created report to check the current memberships of the queue, so see who's a part of each queue. And then it also allows them to determine it kind of allows them to determine who's in which public groups and help them with troubleshooting access issues. So if someone isn't a part of a group, we would be able to see that and be able to assign them to the right group if they didn't have access to something.
Perfect. That's a great answer. And I think a lot of the times, whether it's reporting or something else where, we have permissions based on who's able to see this group, or even queues. So admins being able to run this report, they don't have to go through users and then click and see who's in what group. Now they can just do it through a report. That's really helpful. Yeah. Thanks, James. All right, so for this one here is asset hierarchy. This is also something that was requested, where new assets will now display in the more like a hierarchy there, as you can see in the screenshot. You'll have the ability to quickly browse through those assets, and you can see the quantities, start and end dates, and how they're tied to it. So you can see that iPhone 13 bundle. It has the iPhone 13 and then also the different packs connected to it. So it gives a really high level overview of how your assets are looking like, and managing them will be far easier now. And this can be enabled with the new component in the Lightning App Builder. So you just have to sort of create a new tab or even an existing tab, and just drag that on to your page using the Lightning App Builder. So as I mentioned, this is going to help navigate instead of being more of a list view, and you have to figure out which ones are connected to which in what way. This shows the hierarchy and simplifies a lot of the process there, and prevents headaches for your reps. So very interesting. Any questions here? All right. We'll move forward to the next. This will take us to the more of the admin focused updates. All right, so for this here, it's a big update and the more of a back end, more of just something that you can be aware of. So this is migrating to Hyperforce with the assistant. And what the update itself is that they came out with the assistant to migrate, where there is a migration happening in the back end. It's how the servers are handled. You're able to now, instead of having everything stored on the Salesforce servers, now they're kind of separating it and putting it together with the public cloud platform, meaning your own environment and the server itself could be on AWS or the Google Cloud platform or on Azure. So this kind of opens up a lot of possibilities for your performance of your Salesforce environment to be even better. You'll be able to select your own locations and different regions based on your different requirements, and you'll be able to select which types of providers, so things like that. So you'll be able to use the assistant to kind of walk you through it, and it has many benefits. Like you'll be able to protect your customer data better and ensure compliance. Like I said, every region has its own different compliance and industry standards and regulations. So with this, you'll be able to really pick your own server location. You'll be able to select your providers with different compliance and regulations, licensing, things like that. So we did put a learn more clickable link there. So once you do receive this presentation, you'll be able to click there and then learn more about how this works and what the assistant will do to kind of walk you through all of that. And in the graphic to the right, you can see before it was more of a first party data center, meaning everything was kind of stored right within Salesforce and the servers. But now with the public cloud or the Hyperforce around the world, like you have so many different, places you can now kind of run, and Salesforce clouds are all going to be there and kind of just more flexible at this point. And now this promises you more flexibility. Any questions here? All right, we'll move forward with the next. James, go ahead.
Yeah, so also coming in this release is the permission set summary view. And what this allows us to do is we're able to see a count of how many permission set groups a specific permission set is a part of. It includes in the summary view, it shows all the details like the API name, created and modified date. And it's an overview of all permissions that have been enabled in that permission set. So you'll be able to pretty much see any permission groups that permission set was assigned to. You'll be able to see through this permission set groups added to section. And the way you'll view this is you'll navigate the permission sets through the setup and click on the specific permission set. And as you can kind of see here where this arrow is, that's where you'll be able to view all this summary detail. So that view summary beta button up there.
Yep. It's still in beta mode, so there's going to be further updates to this. And this is going to be just a clickable button on the permission set. A lot of requests for this, like, hey, we are having issues identifying what's this permission set related to and what those permissions enabled. So it's like a more of an overview and nice view of that. So thank you, James.
Yeah, and then next is now you are also able to report on permission set assignments. This was the actually 5th most voted on idea on Idea Exchange. So I know this is something that a lot of our clients have been looking for, but now you're able to create these custom reports and see which permission sets are assigned to which users all in one view. You're going to be able to do this through custom report types on the permission set assignment object. And you should be able to run a report by a user, permission set, or permission set group to kind of see where those are all assigned in one place. I know before you would actually have to click into the permission sets and see which users they were assigned to. And I know in the past I've even had clients ask me to make this report before. And so I'm really excited that this is something they've decided to add, and now we can all utilize. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think it will help save a lot of time there, just running a report and seeing the users and their permission sets that are assigned. So perfect. All right. The next one is the dynamic forms for standard objects. So dynamic forms was part of one of our previous releases that we went over. So just to kind of go over that again. So dynamic forms help display data conditionally and dynamically, and it was only enabled on custom objects before. So this is another idea that, the users were like, hey, we need this more on the standard objects and less on the custom objects. So Salesforce went ahead and enabled it for the standard objects. And overall, the way this will work is it's enhancing your experience for the users. It's not going to be as cluttered with all the unnecessary fields and sections. You'll be able to now, with the dynamic forms, you have to convert your page to a dynamic form. Once you open up your Lightning page, it asks you, do you want to convert this over to a dynamic form enabled? So once you enable that, you'll be able to pretty much modify your page layouts directly from here and add in a field, remove a field. And also, when you do click over a section or a field or a tab, you'll be able to have a condition on when it shows up and when it hides. So, if you need something only to show up at a certain stage in an opportunity, only then it'll show up once you set those conditions. So very, very helpful, and cleans up a lot of the clutter on the page. And yeah, so that it's pretty exciting for the standard objects, and this will lead to a lot of once again efficiency in working in the systems. We do have a polling question here. All right, so have you started to implement, or have you seen dynamic forms in action within your own Salesforce environment? The choices are yes, no, and last one is we are planning on it. So very curious to see who has seen those in action, whether it's on the custom objects or heard of it, or tried to implement it within your org, or your admins have been trying to plan on moving forward with that. We'll wait for the results. All right, so it looks like it's still something pretty new to everyone. We have votes on a lot of the no's and planning on it. So let's see. Very interesting. All right, moving forward, we have API names and permission sets. So you can now see API names of object and field permissions when configuring the permission set. So a lot of the times what I've seen with my clients is that they'll have two objects named the same thing and their API names are different, or not even the same, but sometimes similar, and they get confused on which object when they're creating a report or anything else there. Sorry, this was supposed to be for James, and I took that. So this here will really help, kind of make it clear on other functions where you're able to do your API names and separate it when you're doing permissions. All right, we have call summaries powered by Einstein GPT. We did go over how that works, Einstein GPT, and how this will work within your org. But then this is another feature where using the video calls or just phone calls or anything, you can now involve Einstein AI talents into your post-call summaries on voice or video calls. And what it will do is it'll generate a summary based on the audio and the video, and it'll generate a summary tab and kind of go over what the call was about, what the next steps are, and what you can do better to move forward. So it provides a lot of AI feedback there. You can see a screenshot there. The video call is happening, and then Einstein Summary to the right. Another screenshot here of a close-up of that, where you have your related tab at the call summaries, and then when you do click on that, this is a customer feedback, the call summary, and the next step that Einstein GPT created. Very cool. Last but not least, it's James with the Salesforce backup.
Yeah, and so the other thing that's being added in this new release is the Salesforce backup and restore. And what this pretty much is to prevent against any permanent data loss or corruption. And so the way this is done is through daily backups, and you're actually able to utilize these backups to restore your data. I know anytime an integration or even user error happens, there's concern about data loss. And so this is something that we can use to, back up on a daily basis and make sure that if there ever is that kind of critical meltdown on an integration or with data, that we're able to restore it and get things back up and running to the way they were before. I know in the past I had done this for some clients through a weekly backup, but seeing that there's a little bit more frequency that we're able to do with this is definitely cool and something that I think is beneficial.
Quick question here on the chat. Are there any configurations required to get this up and running?
So you'll be able to configure this pretty easily. It's pretty straightforward, and it only takes about 10 minutes. You will need to install a managed package, though, to implement this, and there is a little bit of cost. It's $3 per user per month, so depending on how many users you want to utilize this on, that's kind of the pricing differentiation or price addition on this. Perfect.
Great answer there. So straightforward there on the configuration. And with that, this is our last slide on the updates, and we would like to let you guys know that Armanino does have Salesforce virtual classes, and whether it's your employees that need to get up to speed or learn about their features, we have Armanino Academy, and the link is clickable there. So when we do receive that, please sure to check that out. Other than that, thank you for joining, and really appreciate you all being part of this webinar. And if you have any additional questions, reach us at experts@armaninollp.com. Thank you, everyone.